Hello everybody, welcome to another FFBE Beginner's Guide. Today we're going to be talking about Espers, which are incredibly important to this game, and people might not know that starting out. They're pretty hard to get when you have to go all the way through multiple seasons of story and find them in, various locations, and we'll get into all of that. But first, let's just talk about why these Espers are so important and how you can build them for their maximum efficiency. So first off, we have to go down to the Units tab here and then click on Esper Enhancements, and we can see that I've got all of the Espers at max level, and this is something that I actually was very recently able to do. And before that, I was in this incredibly long slog of waiting for more super sight to come in so that I could actually level these Espers. Because when you go to see them and you can actually level them up here, you need this material down here, this super sight, and it's so hard to get, or at least it used to be. But now we have these quests in the game where every single day you can go in and you can fight in this chamber of crystals, these different bosses here. Now, what's really important is that this max energy one, the energy 100, you can actually steal Esper ore from it. So what I suggest for new players is that no matter what, you run the max level of this dungeon every single day for each of the colors. So that's 4 100 energy missions. And if you really wanted to farm faster, you could farm the lower ones. But what's also really important is that you have a unit like my Riku here that can actually steal from the boss. So this Riku, her regular attack will actually steal from the boss. So I'm able to get that Esper ore every single fight. And part of my daily experience here in FFBE is still doing those 4 missions, stealing all the Esper ore so that I can power up my Espers. You can also get super sight from various, returning missions that come out, but the other steady place to get them is through the expedition, especially on Mondays like today, where a bunch of super sight missions come available. Normally there's only 2 per day, 2 active at a time, but right now we can have 4 active at a time. So if you are on the ball for Mondays, you can actually farm this 8 times rather than 4 times. So why do we actually care about Espers? Well, there's 2 main reasons. The first are killers, and the second is elemental resistance. So for example, if we take a look at our Diabolos here, we can see that he will give us some elemental resistance for dark, and he will give us a weakness to light, and he'll also give us a status effect resistance to poison. And when we go on to his Esper board here, we can see that I've highlighted very specific nodes. These are the ones that I've actually trained. And what I've been looking for are these pink ones that say killer. So demon killer here, if I long press on it, it gives 50% physical demon killer. And if I long press on this one here, this gives 75% physical and magic demon killer. Now, if you don't know what killers are in this game, I do have a video kind of about how you build up a team and why killers are so important. But the quick version of it is this is 75% extra damage against a demon. So it is one of the, the fastest way to raise your damage against the boss is to equip killers with that boss's race. Straight up, is one of the most important things in FFBE. So if you're able to get a bunch of killers from your Espers, then you'll be able to save equipment slots for other things that you want to equip to your units. So whenever you start to train your Espers, you're going to look specifically for 2 types of nodes. One is the killer nodes, and you can train your way all the way there. And 2, and see, we have some man-eater up here too. And 2 would be any sort of resistance nodes. So right over here, we can see there's dark resistance 10%, dark resistance 10% lower down, and I will certainly be working my way to claiming those nodes as soon as possible. So on any given Esper, we can go look at another one like Carbuncle. We're going to see that I went for the light resist nodes here, and I've also claimed the spirit killer node to be able to get some extra spirit killer. There are some other things that we can talk about with Espers later on, like for example, learning things like Barb Blazega and other spells, but really that's kind of like a deeper thing that you can learn through time. But if you want a quick and easy guide to Espers, build for the resistances and build for the killer nodes. So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, Mysidia, you've got all of your Espers maxed, so why are you still doing those quests? And it's because I need that Esper ore. So whenever we look at an Esper, for example, Bahamut, which is an Esper that everybody should aim to get. Bahamut has a lot of killers, like I think all of them maybe. So one thing that you really want to do is get all of these killers that are on this board. The issue is that you don't actually get enough SP from leveling Bahamut up to 3-star level 60. You actually have to get some extra SP in order to do that. And the way that you would do that is by feeding these Espers Esper ore. So while these super sites give experience to your Espers and level them up, the Esper ores will give SP to your unit. So for example, here I could feed all of these red Esper ores in, and I could give Bahamut 60 more SP to spend on board abilities. Now my Bahamut's looking just fine like that, but one unit that I am working on is my Ashura. Oh no, sorry, that's whoops, that's Lakshmi. Is my Ashura. And we can see that she has 44 SP, but I want to get a lot more SP to get this break damage boost and to get this this dark resistance 25% here. And if you're wondering how do I get all of these Espers, well, you can go to the FFBE Wiki on the Esper page, and there's lots of important information here. Like for example, did you know that when you equip an Esper to a unit, the unit actually gains stats increased based on 1% of the Esper stats. So that's the reason why you would fill out their board, is to get like a small amount of stats eventually. But when you go look at these Esper list, you can pick any Esper off of this list. For example, we can go to Odin, and it's going to give you the how to obtain guide. So you can actually go grab it. And it's also going to show you the resistances, the skills you can learn, and the actual board itself. So this is a really good way of going around finding out what all your Espers do. There's also a great web page on this wiki that gives you the breakdown of all of the killers available from Espers, and the same thing again with resistance comparison. So if you are doing a boss fight and you know that your entire party needs to be at 100% fire resistance and you don't have enough accessories to make that happen, well, you can go look at this site and you can see, well, Phoenix and Ifrit are actually going to give me sources of 50% fire resistance for this fight, or maybe they're going to give me, you know, Confuse protection. But also you could think to yourself, wow, I can't beat this fight, or I can't cap this boss, and I wish I had some way to get more Dragon Killer. Well, then you can go look at this and you can see, okay, here's Odin. He gives 125% Dragon Killer. Well, that's actually going to help me clear up my accessories and get more attack on my unit, and that will be very useful for me. We also have the magic killers on a table down below. All right, so that's going to be it for my Esper guide. The summary is that you want to level up all of your Espers. You want to unlock them all, and you want to specifically target the killer nodes first, and then the elemental resistance nodes, and down the road you might find out that you want to get other stuff, and you'll be able to do that as well. But it's important that at the early game that you are unlocking these things and that you're doing your dailies so that you can level them up as quickly as possible. As you can see, they can give you quite a bit of boost for your account. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this guide was useful for you, and if there's any other FFBE guides, then be sure to comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see. Otherwise, we'll see you all in the next video.